It's recording. Hello, welcome back to my stupid tutorials. I don't really think I have any returning viewers, but if you are a returning viewer, please comment because the algorithm isn't very nice to me. Today I'm just gonna go into like detail about like computer architecture, like the way that they generate heat, and like why some need fans, why some computers don't need fans, and why some old laptops get really hot while some MacBooks like don't get hot at all when you're doing like very simple stuff on them. But because like right now my laptop is like burning hot right now. It's like hurting because like OBS is killing this thing. Yeah. I'm just gonna make this clear, like from the very start. Your CPU, let's say CPU. Oh, it's so bad. It takes electricity. Let's imagine this is current. It goes through it. And then as a byproduct is heat. When your CPU clocks faster, clock is equal to how many instructions per second. So we're just gonna write instructions per ISPS because I can't type. I'm not writing all that. Instructions per second. This generates a lot of heat. So yeah, now we're just gonna clear this. So yeah, now you know that computers, regardless of what they're doing, if they're doing anything at all, they will generate at least a little bit of heat. So yeah, some devices use less power and hence make less heat. So this CPU right here, let's say CPU, it's not a G. I'm not doing GPUs until I'm actually smart. So let's say it's an Intel Atom, okay? Atom. This thing takes very little power, and it's like 1-2 cores that individually are a lot weaker than the average dual core, and they do a lot less, and they have like a 1.1 gigahertz clock speed, which is very slow modern era. Like even my 10-year-old CPU clocks at 2.4 gigahertz base and around 2.8 gigahertz turbo realistic. It can technically go to 3 gigahertz, but never really goes above 2.8 gigahertz. So yeah, very slow. And even those 1.1 gigahertz are doing less than a normal 1.1 gigahertz if my CPU is clocked at 1.1 gigahertz. For the record, mine is a i5 6th gen. So yeah, I'm not really at the very bottom of the laptop food chain or whatever. So yeah, this heat usage is dictated heavily by CPU architecture. We're gonna call it Arch. So this Intel Atom CPU was designed for very minimal use cases, very like simple use cases. I'm talking opening Gmail to an extent where it's gonna like kill itself. That's how bad this thing is. It's just meant for opening Gmail and then lagging the hell just trying to use the operating system. I don't think an Intel Atom should ever be used for anything higher than Windows. Should ever be used for any operating system above Windows 7. It's that bad. I'm pretty sure Intel discontinued Intel Atoms though. Yeah, but the cool thing about Intel Atoms is that they are still x64. Just imagine that's a T. Atom is equal to x64. Which is the most used architecture like ever. Basically, every piece of commercial software was designed to be run on the x64 PC. Performance-wise, maybe not the Intel Atom, but this. So your Atom can theoretically run everything because it is Turing complete, which means given enough time and enough memory, it can do anything. But you're gonna need to give this a lot of time to do anything, and I don't think memory can save this guy, because sometimes memory is not the cause of bad performance. Sometimes it's just the CPU being bad and weak. This CPU was meant to be weak. It is designed to be slower and designed to be as simple as possible by design, so it uses less power. That's why machines with this Atom don't need fans. So let's imagine there's a fan right here. It doesn't need this. It just uses the IHS, the integrated heat spreader, to spread the heat into the chassis of the device, usually a laptop, because Atoms are meant for embedded devices, so usually a portable device. It spreads the heat into the chassis, not very much, which can like dissipate and then boom, no more heat. Now you don't even need a fan. And atoms are, since they're designed to be so simple, they're very easy to make, which is why devices with atoms are notoriously very cheap. So yeah, good budget option, you know, decent battery life, I think. Really just depends on how beefy the battery is. But yeah, also, wait one second. Yeah, so yeah, it performs horribly, but it doesn't need active cooling. It can just passively cool into the chassis. For an example, or not for an example, in comparison, my CPU, dual core, so let's go i5-63U, 6300U, I'm not going to write the 2 zeros because it's a waste of time. 2 cores, so let's just divide this into 2, and 4 threads, so it can do a bunch of stuff. I already explained this before, I think. This guy is going to freaking die from heating, from getting really hot if I try to do anything demanding. Maybe it's 10-year-old thermal paste, maybe it's a dilapidated, dusty cooling system from 10 years ago that hasn't been cleaned in a while. I don't know. But this guy draws way more power than that freaking old atom that I just showed you. Yeah. But it can also clock faster, it can do more, it can actually do something. If I was doing this, if I would be doing this on an atom, I would probably kill myself out of pure frustration of how slow it is. This CPU is also x64, so this thing can do way more than the atom. It's better, but it might be a bit more expensive. But the problem is it requires active cooling and can get really freaking loud. This is required. If there is no active cooling, it will literally just shut itself off so it doesn't cook itself. Unlike some 13th, 14th gen i7 Intel CPUs. I'm pretty sure they fixed that issue though. I'm not gonna test it, I'm too poor. So yeah. This thing would freaking die with no fan. Like, permanently die. So yeah. Now I want to talk about one of my favorite areas of architectures that I like talking about. ARM. It's a really, really cool thing standing for Advanced RISC Machine. RISC means Reduced Instruction Set Computing. Reduced Instruction Set Computing, where the instruction set, basically, or the stuff that the CPU can understand at the bare metal. I'm pretty sure I already went over this in my How Computers Use Binary video. You should go check it out. Yeah. Machine code. Much simpler, has less instructions, and those instructions themselves are simpler. But what this does for you, it means that ARM takes way less power to do the exact same thing. So, less power equals less heat. Your phone uses ARM. Your MacBooks made 2021 or Apple M1 and newer use ARM. Some Windows PCs use ARM as well, but those are pretty bad, and I think they're discontinued because they suck. Yeah, this is also why ARM laptops, ARM devices last for several hours, while my PC gets 45 minutes of battery life on a good day. So, yeah. Less power, less heat. That's why your MacBook Air, so we're going to write MBA, does not have a fan. Does not need a fan. It would be kind of nice for sustained performance, but it does not need a fan. Their chips aren't going to heat up and melt itself like x86 or x64 CPUs would, because their instructions are simpler, they take less power to do the same thing, and yeah. MacBook Pros do indeed, so let's clear everything, one sec. MacBook Pros, so we're going to MBP, do have a very tiny fan. This is because Apple was like, these quote unquote pros needs some sustained performance. Also, the chips in the MacBook Pros are faster, usually. No, they always are. So, yeah, they do more stuff, so they probably take more power, so they might want a bit more cooling, so they can sustain this, so it wouldn't just be MacBook Burn Your Lap edition. What the hell is wrong with my freaking script, bro? So stupid. Yeah, fancy pair of words. Sustained performance. Yep. When the CPU is hot, slows down, reduces power intake so it doesn't literally cook itself and melt and die and explode. That's why your laptop with x86 or x64 Intel CPUs or AMD CPUs, they slow down like crazy when they're trying to do something. Like, for an example, editing this video is gonna hurt my poor lap. I feel bad already. I'm preparing for the trauma that was editing the last video. That the editing in that video was already remarkably simple, and it still took like 30 minutes to export. Are we for real, bro? And for some reason, Windows keeps overriding my my HD 520 drivers, so it won't let me use hardware accelerated decoding. Yeah, well, I'm getting off track here. So, yeah, now I'm just gonna continue x86 CPUs just like one more time before I'm gonna end this video off in like a couple of minutes. So yeah. x86 has a very complex architecture that is actually really cool for low-level programmers who like assembly or machine code, because complex instruction set, there is literally an instruction for everything. x86 is an instruction set that has been built on since the original 8086 CPU that was like made before my dad was. So yeah, since the original 8086, we are building on the instruction set. That's why our modern CPUs can run 32-bit software, because we have the same instructions and then we also have more of them. So backwards compatibility, that's pretty cool. That's why when your x86 or x64 CPU first turns on, it boots in something called real mode, 16-bit mode, the exact same architecture that was in the very first CPU or commercial CPU ever made, the Intel 8086. This is for backwards compatibility, but this literally means you can run 8086 software on your freaking AI PC garbage, whatever the hell, $1,000 laptop. Congrats. I hope that made your day. So yeah, x86 is x86_64, and x86 is also the the prime architecture to develop your commercial software for. By x86 I mean x86_64 and all its older brothers, i686, i486, and i386. All of them are different architectures. i386 software will work on x6 and will work on anything above. i486 software will work on anything above but nothing below, and it just keeps going, and to the point where the new stuff can't really run on old stuff because of architectural limits and performance limits. So yeah. Most modern software is made for x64, not any of those old 32-bit CPUs. Probably for good reason, because these poor devs would have to optimize so hard for like 20-year-old computers using 32-bit CPUs. Wow, I'm just rambling. Oh, I even wrote it in my notes that I'm rambling. All this rambling is me trying to tell you that ARM computers are better in some ways, but they aren't better in other ways. Sure, they have a really long, nice battery life and don't get loud, but x64 rules in software support. Picking an architecture is like picking your poison. Long battery with Macs or Windows ARM PCs, but have little software support, or have a really hot, really loud, but broadly supported x86 PC. Really, pick your poison. So, to summarize, Intel Atoms suck at everything besides being dirt cheap and not needing fans. ARM is good for people who use ARM-supported software and value 10 years of battery life. x64 is good for literally everything else, but may burn your house down if you bought 13th or 14th gen i7 or up. And yeah, 13th, 14th gen, microcode issue, I think they fixed it, I don't really care. I'm still gonna be at least 10 years behind in basically every single CPU generation, or basically of all my CPU generations, so yay! I love not being willing to spend more than $50 on a computer. Yay! Yeah, so 13, 14 Gen i7s it up, burnt themselves alive. This is why we need good cooling. It wasn't either cooling, it's that the programmers kind of messed up and forgot to kind of incorrectly ask the CPU to cool down. So I had a much higher cap, 100 degrees Celsius, before it would start cooling down. Yes, that's right. 100 degrees Celsius before these crazy men at Intel decided, yeah, that's good enough, 100 degrees Celsius, fine. Yeah, that may perform pretty decently, but come on, you're going to be looking for a new CPU by next year, so like that's not really great for longevity of your system. So if you really have to go Intel, just go for Core Ultra or 12th Gen. Still amazing. Yeah. The CPU in basically any x64 computer would burn itself alive or burn itself dead without a fan. And ARM CPUs with massive cooling systems are a waste of your damn time. But without cooling systems, they're pretty good. They have around 10 hours of battery life if they have a big enough battery and are used on like a operating system optimized for them and that stuff. Cool. So basically MacBooks. Yeah. I hope you learned something, and if you did enjoy, please like and subscribe. I hate YouTubers who do this, but 5 subscribers, I'll maybe make a video by next year. I don't really know, but yeah. If you want to comment any future topic that you would like me to cover, or tell me to jump off a building in the comment section, that's okay by me. Already planning on it. See y'all in the next one. Bye. Swear to God, this freaking video is not recorded properly. I'm gonna jump off a building. Yeah, so while editing the video, I realized I made it look like a 2000s, like what are the a very early YouTube video, like a YouTube video that looks older than me. My bad. I'm trying new editing styles. Next time I'll try putting an animated character in the bottom right corner.